Hey coders, and welcome to episode 2 of our Basic Widgets season on the Flutter course. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at both the container and padding widgets. One of the advantages of surrounding your widget within a container is that then you can add space around your widget. And there's two important terms to know when adding space: margin and padding. So the distance between the widget itself and the container's border is known as padding. And the distance between the container's border and any surrounding elements, such as the side of the screen or any other widgets, is known as margin. Now there are a lot more advantages to wrapping your widget within a container, but we're going to get into that in the code momentarily. So the top two widgets which we are going to review today are container and padding. So let's jump on in over to the code editor and learn how to implement these widgets. Right now, as you can see, our text widget is positioned in the top left-hand corner of the body of our scaffold. And that looks nice, but let's say that you wanted to add some space in between the edge of the phone and our text widget, as well as maybe in between our text widget and the app bar. Let's say we think it's too tight in this corner, we want to put some breathing room. So how could we do that? Well, we could accomplish this in one of two ways. We could either surround it in a padding widget, or we could surround it in a container widget. So let's first start off with the padding widget. So again, whenever you have a widget that you want to put some space in between it and other widgets, or maybe even the side of the screen, you can surround it, you can wrap it in a padding widget. So let's do that right now. So here is our text widget, which we want to add some padding to. And then, so we're going to need to wrap this text widget in a padding widget. Now it's really simple to do that in Android Studio by clicking on the widget that you're trying to wrap, and then you'll see this light bulb appear. You're going to click on that light bulb, and then you'll have an option to wrap with a generic widget. Now you also have this option down here, wrap with padding, and they give you this just because the padding widget is used extremely frequently, but let's just do the generic widget just so that we can see all of the steps. Alright, so I'm going to click on that, and there we go. So now our text widget has just been surrounded by another widget. So we're going to again declare this as a padding widget, just like that. Alright, so now we see a red squiggly line. The only reason why is because the padding widget has a named required parameter called padding. And that makes sense because if we declare that we want to use a padding widget, we need to specify how much padding we want to give it. Right? So we'll just say padding. And then, actually, let me get rid of that again and type this out. So this padding takes in an object or a widget called EdgeInsets geometry. Now, don't worry about that name too much. That's kind of a confusing name in my opinion, but basically we're just going to start typing that out, EdgeInsets, and then we'll hit the period button, and now we have an option to say how much padding we want on different sides of our widget. So we could give a generic, just give all of the sides of our widget a certain value, a certain padding, or we could say only, say the left side, only the right side, only the top, with this right here, EdgeInsets.only. We also have from LTRB. That means left, top, right, and bottom. This is just a way to specify left, top, right, and bottom through positional arguments rather than this, which is all named. We also have symmetric, so if you wanted to give both the left and the right hand side an equal amount, you could specify with this symmetric named constructor. And that's about all of them for now, so I'm going to use only. I think I use that a lot. And then I'm going to give left, let's say we'll give left a padding of, I don't know, let's say 25. And then top, we'll give a padding of, let's say 15. That sounds good, and you can always tweak those parameters later based on how it looks. But there we go. So now Hello World has been moved over to the left and down a little bit from the app bar. So that is padding. Now, generally speaking, I actually won't use padding. I'll use the Container Widget, and you'll see why in just a second. So with the Padding Widget, you really can only add padding. That's about it in terms of widgets, or in terms of parameters. You can give it a key, and it looks like that's about it. And that, yeah, so padding, it's very simple widget. But if you were to say use the Container Widget to wrap your widget in, you can still specify a padding. But not only can you specify a padding in the Container Widget, but you can also specify a lot of other things. So again, you can just do a lot more with the Container Widget, which is why I almost never use the Padding Widget. If I want to pad my widgets, my child widgets, I'll just use a container, and then I'll give a padding property, a value to that Container Widget. Alright, so let's see some of the things that you can do with a container. You can give your container a color. So let's just give our color of, let's say colors dot, let's see what colors are out there. How about teal accent? That looks pretty good. And now we can hit the save button. So there we go. So as you can see, here is our Container Widget. It has a padding on the left and a padding on the top. But as you can see, this container is actually flush against the side of the phone and the app bar. So just like if you were coding in HTML, you can also assign a container a margin. And you would use the same object. As you can see, margin takes also EdgeInsets geometry. So let's just copy that and paste. Let's give it a left value of, I don't know, let's say, actually let's not use left at all. Let's just give it a top value of, say, 20. All right, and if we say that, there we go. So now we have just moved down. Our container has moved down 20, as you can see right here, logical pixels. All right, so that is container. There's a lot more properties that you can add to it, such as alignment, decoration, transform, height, key, and you can explore a lot of these just on your own. But I'm going to end the episode there. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something from it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the very next episode.